about the time, I told you clearly where this is all heading. In China, they have drones for everything. Delivery, window washing, killing people. And the technology is rapidly advancing because it's a billion-dollar industry. And growing. Then, of course, not to forget that in 1998, the first microchip was already implanted in a person and tested. And he could pay with his hand and everything. And in Sweden, they have already been doing that for decades. At least a decade. And let's not forget Mr. Elon Musk openly on CNET presenting his Neuralink microchip for in the heads of people. And in the meantime, AI is evolving. It has a little stop right now, which was to be expected. But at some point, the AI is going to take over pretty much the most of our jobs. And everybody will be forced into welfare to the system. And the system is going to decide how you should live, what you should eat, what you should believe. And if you don't comply, they shut off your funds. It is written in certain parts of the book of Revelation, the final in the canon of the Bible, that there will be a beast and an image of the beast, which refers to the system and all this virtual stuff, and which will cause both free and slave, young and old, and whatever gender, to receive the mark of the beast in their hand and/or their forehead. And then later, a chapter later or 2 chapters later in the Bible, it clearly says that those who have received this mark are eternally cut off from life and the root of life, which is the Creator, and will be sent into eternal destruction. So, let it be very clear that those who decide to comply or did not listen to the warning signs and got themselves assimilated, like the Borg of Star Trek, will be eternally cut off from God and will suffer the dire consequences attached to it. It is also clear that around the time that this madness starts to explode on the earth, the coming of Christ is happening simultaneously. So, we are looking into the looking glass and we are seeing that the Christ's return is around the corner. There is other passages in Matthew that talk about this, and also the Christ talking about the time that humanity has its free choice and its ability to establish itself, and that they will be allowed to prove their ways, whether they are effective or not. And for this reason, a lot of injustice and result of misuse of free choice has been allowed into this world, and misery and all these kind of things and all these other religions and beliefs and all these things that are contrary to God and the life He wants to give you and the happiness He wants you to have. And for a time this is allowed because, like any court case, all the evidence must be presented. And in this way, only once this has happened on Earth, and it will be a chapter closed forever after. But the time is coming soon that these drones in China and everywhere around the world, this billion-trillion-dollar industry, will be one with the AI, will be used by the government to scan people's faces, to check whether they have their inoculation, to check whether they have the chip, and if they don't have it, they'll be shot with one, and you will have lost your life. It is horror, it's technical horror, it's Borg, you will be assimilated. The day of destruction for the majority of the world that keeps defying God and hiding in their filthinesses and their unbelief, will get their bill. And people their pride and everything, it shall be paid back to their face. And believe me, he would have them saved rather than getting that bill. But at some point, the madness will become so out of control that the end must come. And at this time, the Christ will return, visible on every channel, on TV, on your telephone, in heaven, everywhere. It says nobody will be able to look away. And then the people that belong to him will be collected. First, the people, the souls that are still trapped here that have already passed away will return to him. And you will actually see resurrection of dead people and stuff like that. And then the people that are still physically alive will also return to him. And it said about those days that unless Christ would return, unless God would intervene, literally no physical flesh would be saved. So it's not even talking about the spiritual being, it's talking about our literal flesh will not be saved. If God does not intervene, there will be nothing left. Which could already be stated of those left behind, even though they remain some physical form, because they will be cut off forever. A dreaded scenario, one I seek to avoid completely. And since all the prophecy and all the thing, after a time of confusion, still come back from under the water to prove themselves time-tested and true, I can tell you this one is also coming. God reigns, Christ lives, he has conquered death a while ago, and those who believe in him shall have access to eternal life. There is a time that God will no longer tolerate our insubordination, and our free movement of space will be severely restricted by the destruction we have called upon ourselves, those who did not believe. And most people simply don't believe because it doesn't fit their frame. They don't think that it matches their social life. What would other people think of them? They are afraid to get beaten, hurt, or thrown into prison. But if you fear the flesh and the evil of this world more than you fear the judgment of God, then good luck with it. Anyway, it was very needed to say this. And the summary is the drone and AI industry will merge. People will be forcefully shot with this technology because very wicked people live on this world. And when they can, only need 10,000 of people to control the entire world with technology they control on a distance while they sit in their ivory tower safe, they will especially do so, and your laws that you say, oh, my basic human rights are being violated, it shall never happen, people will come into an uprising. They're too disorganized, they're not strong enough, and they do not know where to find these ivory towers. These bastards will send their drones and they will shoot you because they get off on it. They are one with their father, Satan, and so will you be if you do not heed this warning and choose the way of life, which Christ is very plain in saying, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Those who enter through me get to the Father, but those who do not are left behind.